Welcome friends to a 40k lore video. Today we look to The Last Church by Graham McNeill and examine the insight into the Emperor and his attitudes to religion that this gives us. Uriah is the priest of this last church and he meets the Emperor in one of his disguises. The Emperor swept over Terra with his thunder warriors, and this is the last church standing on the entire planet. A hooded figure enters alone. The Emperor says most priests he has met are dour. Uriah is not. The Emperor says to call him Revelation, and he wants to know why the priest holds on in the face of the world, abandoning divinity for science. Uriah points to a work of art and says Revelation must open his heart to its beauty, and the Emperor confirms he is a student of art and that the painting does not confirm the existence of a divine being. The artist will have been commissioned for the work. And then he tells Uriah, this is the last church and it will be torn down. The priest says this will not change his beliefs, and Revelation goes on to say, I see now why the Emperor wants rid of it then. You call faith power, I call it dangerous. Think of what people in the grip of faith have done in the past, all the atrocities committed down the centuries by people of faith. Politics has slain it. Thousands, yes, but religion has slain its millions. Uriah says not to insult him in his own home, and then shows Revelation, the lightning stone, and they discuss it. The Emperor asks why the stone is holy, and Uriah says, a deaf, blind, holy man sheltered from a storm in the lee of the stone. He saw blue flames and was cured of what ailed him. So the stone was thought to be able to heal and took on its current mantle. The Emperor says he has heard of similar things, but there it was a bathhouse run by men who, as Revelation tells it, were afraid the output of their holy spring would be insufficient, so they only changed the water in the pools twice a day, and many died from the diseases that arose from there. And with his hand on the stone, he knows its true origin. It was exposed in a landslip. The lightning perhaps he puts down to the man's hysteria. The priest does not like what he hears and says, so. Revelation tapped a finger to the side of his head and responded, you think that the way you perceive the world is the way it actually is, but you cannot perceive the external world directly. None of us can. Instead, we know only our ideals or interpretations of objects in the world. The human brain is a marvellously evolved organ, my friend, and it is especially good at constructing images of faces and voices from limited information. He suggests an already religious man might see and hear sounds to match his faith. He presses the priest, who does not accept this explanation. The priest says he had a vision on a battlefield in Frank. The Emperor says it frustrates him to see people willfully blinkering themselves. Perhaps if all of humanity could see the visions of the future the Emperor had and experience the ability to read others' minds, then they would have a similar faith in science that he has. It seems to me perhaps he judges them by his own standards when he should judge them by their more mortal standards. He also questions the book Uriah has faith in. Revelation says, claiming that you speak to God and it's accepted. Claim you're speaking to a dead relative and you will be locked up. And then he says, why should the priest's faith be free from scrutiny when other things are not? The priest says the vision was a part of what made him come to this church. And then this reveals that he has heard of the Emperor and casts him as a tyrant. Revelation says the universe does not care about anything. You must do things with your own hands. And he has seen what's left in the wake of the Emperor's thunder warriors. Uriah says that, and was part of a rebellion against the Emperor, he confesses. And this rebellion had fought them. They lost, and it was a slaughter, and Uriah ran, and was the only survivor. And it was then he saw the face of the divine light surround him. The face said to accept him. Revelation says, isn't there another explanation? And with what had happened and the later loss of his family to raiders, Uriah found a place in the church, and he believes he was saved to serve God and spread his word, and the agents of the emperor have been spreading counterwords all over the world to refute it. And the emperor tells Uriah a story. The message behind it is how faith in certain concepts can cause clashes with those who believe otherwise. It justifies the violence you choose to deploy. Uriah dismisses the story. The emperor says religion causes cruelty. To remove faith makes humanity more humane. Uriah says his book carries good ways to live, and when challenged, he says it's guidance, metaphor, and not to be taken literally. The emperor then responds to say that you choose which parts to live by and which parts are symbolic, and this makes them a horror story. And he quotes a moment from the past where there were mind sacrifices, and then goes on to list many others. Uriah denies this, saying the emperor chooses examples from the past, not the whole of the past does he look at, and the emperor disputes this. You must have heard of Cardinal Tang, a mass-murdering ethnarch who practiced a crude form of eugenics. His bloody pogroms and death camps saw millions dead in the Undonesic bloc. He died less than 30 years ago after seeking to return the world to a pre-tech age, emulating the Inquisition's burning of scientists, mathematicians and philosophers who contradicted the Church's view on cosmology. Revelation carries on saying religion, like a poison, creates division, keeps wounds open when they would otherwise heal. Uriah says mankind does terrible things without religion, forcing them to do it, and take it away. What would replace it? Revelation tells him it can comfort, but it doesn't give religion any credence or validity. Uriah then says he is not afraid to die because of his faith. Revelation says, when people die, do you not celebrate going to this other place if you're happy for them to die? Because you know where they will end up, a place of comfort and light under God. Uriah prays and the emperor asks why, and this leads to the master of mankind revealing who he actually is. Uriah sees a towering warrior of exquisite splendour, the man who had defeated the uprising. The emperor asks Uriah to join him and to discover something incredible. And the light from the emperor lights up a nearby fresco. The skin of the painted figures shone with vitality. Only when the suffocating shadows of a religion that teaches us not to question is gone from this world will we see its true brilliance. Uriah says he will miss his church. The emperor states, in time I will build an imperium of such grandeur and magnificence that this will seem like a pauper's hovel. Now let us be on our way. And the priest was led out of the last church on earth, and the emperor's thunder warriors burnt it to the ground. The emperor says to Uriah, though he stands for advancement, some things are best forgotten. And the master of mankind then says, it is my dream, an imperium of man that exists without recourse to gods and the supernatural, a united galaxy with Terra at its heart. Uriah says, this man is arrogant. The Thunder Warriors will not reunite humanity's far-flung empire. The emperor says that he is making other warriors. The priest says, how does this make him better than the crusaders he spoke of? The emperor says, it is because he is right. That's the difference. He knows humanity's narrow path of survival. Uriah asks what comes after. There's no reply, and Uriah says he will not be a part of what it is, and walks into the flames. And then the emperor and the Thunder Warriors leave the scorched remains of the last church on earth to burn. And that, friends, is where I will end today's video.